Is Microsoft selling Xbox? Microsoft is taking this feature off your console. Here's an update on a highly anticipated Xbox exclusive. Let's discuss. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, my YouTube channel where I work to keep you up to date on all things Xbox. This is like my own little Xbox variety show. I talk news, games, accessories, everything in between. So if you want to see content like that, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, and you can even set your notifications to be alerted whenever I post a video. So first up, guys, we have breaking news. Breaking news, yes. The United Kingdom's Competition Markets Authority has officially decided to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. This comes as a shock to a number of people because as soon as last week, we were seeing reports from, for example, the Financial Times saying that this deal was most likely to be approved in the UK today on Wednesday the 26th. So the fact that they instead decided to block it, well, that's pretty much the opposite of what people were expecting. The CMA basically said that they thought with this acquisition, if they approved it, that Microsoft would be way too dominant in the cloud gaming space. And obviously, if you're Xbox, if you're Activision, this is not the news that you wanted to hear. And representatives from both companies have come out and said that they were going to go ahead and fight for this deal. They were going to appeal the decision by the CMA. For me personally, I kind of had a feeling that something like this would happen. Last week, I was seeing those news stories of people saying that the deal was most likely going to be approved. And I thought about talking about it on the channel. And then I thought, you know what? I better wait until they make a final decision. And then last night, I had a dream. It was a really weird dream that my buddy Jimmy texted me and saying essentially that this deal was blocked in the UK. And it was one of those dreams that it was so similar to my real life that it was kind of blurring that line. Is this real? Is this a dream? I'm not sure. So I woke up and I was looking for that text from Jimmy, and then I couldn't find it. It didn't exist. I opened up Twitter, and then I immediately saw Jason Schreier's tweet about the situation. Am I an omniromancer from The Witcher? I don't know. But to be completely honest, guys, I am just waking up. Like, I'm literally rolling out of bed and filming this update. I still have to kind of process my whole thoughts about the situation. Personally, I was hoping the deal will be approved today just so I can move on with my life. And now that it's blocked, and now that they're going through this whole appeals process, it's just gonna drag on. It's gonna go into what, like maybe 2024, maybe? I'm like, oh gosh. But if you're interested in hearing my full thoughts about the situation, definitely check in on next video because I'm for sure gonna be talking about it. Guys, let's talk about Dead Island 2. I've been playing it since last week. Jimmy highly recommended this game. I was a little hesitant at first because I never played the first Dead Island, but once I jumped in, I was really glad I did. It's a very solid game, and there's something nice about the simplicity of it. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's not trying to suck you into a beautiful, life-changing narrative. No, you're just killing zombies, bro. It's exactly what I love to do back in the 360 generation with my friends with Dead Rising. They drop you in a mall and you kill as many zombies as you can until you're dead. This Dead Island takes place in Los Angeles, and it was really cool seeing how great of a job they did in recreating the different neighborhoods in LA. Venice Beach, Bel Air, Santa Monica. There's even a level where you go onto a movie lot and you're fighting your way through different sets. The gore system is crazy. I'm sure you've seen clips of people beating the crap out of zombies in this game on TikTok, YouTube, wherever. But it's pretty dang satisfying being able to shear and knock the flesh off of these zombies. Very satisfying, very cool. There seems to be, at least at the beginning of this game, an emphasis on melee combat, which I really enjoy. It got a little hard in the beginning fighting a lot of zombies at once. It's like, dude, I'm just a guy with a chef's knife going around and trying to slash as many zombies as I can. But in those situations, it's almost like the game encourages you to use all the environmental hazards that are available to you. I was constantly looking for new and creative ways to kill zombies. I wish there was a lot more variety in the kill finishing animations per weapon. Maybe that's their way of trying to encourage you to use other weapons and rotate through a lot of them. There is a weapon degradation system, which it's a little bit annoying. So even if you really love a certain knife or sledgehammer or something like that, there's a chance that it could break from overuse, forcing you to switch to another weapon. The crafting is pretty funny. I took like a little dagger, a little knife, and somehow put a flamethrower on it and made it a flamethrower knife. That was sick. The absurdity in this game is kind of what makes it fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. The characters in this game are referred to as slayers, and when you pick one, you gotta commit to it. You gotta play through the whole game game as that Slayer. If you want to switch, you got to start all the way over again. I had to learn that the hard way because I picked Danny, who is this rockabilly looking girl with blue hair. She had a really cool ability where if you hit a zombie with a fully charged melee attack, it was extra forceful. It was a little bit of explosion that sent people flying. I thought, oh, that's sick, but about an hour and a half in, I was like, I gotta switch characters, man. She has this Irish dialect, and I'm sure the actress that plays her is very talented, but I thought the direction of that character, I just couldn't stand. So I switched characters to Bruno, who I was expecting to have more or less the same kind of, you know, crazy, wacky attitude. He looks like a 6ix9ine knockoff. He has rainbow dreads, tattoos everywhere. But then whenever he speaks, he's like, hey, what's up? I'm Bruno. Sometimes they say things in Spanish like jefe. I was like, oh, I thought you were gonna be crazy and wacky too. I'm a little bit confused. I don't know. It seems like they tried to throw in like every personality trait that we can into these characters. It wasn't really working for me, but again, the focus is on killing zombies, not forming a personal bond with my Slayer, so I was willing to let it slide. But I guess since this game is based in LA, a place that's obsessed with image and can sometimes be very vain, I guess it kind of worked a little bit. Dead Island 2 is now out on all Xbox consoles and it's on PC as well. It's an Epic Game Store exclusive on PC, and this was my first experience being like, dang, Epic Game Store ruins everything. Because since it's exclusive, it's not available through the Xbox app on PC or even Steam. But overall, a solid game. Not perfect, but I'm entertained. Next up, let's talk about Fable, specifically the Fable reboot being worked on by Playground Games. This has gotta be one of the most anticipated games that Xbox Game Studios has in store for us. I am a big fan of the original Fable, so when they announced this back in 2020, they showed us the trailer of the fairy getting eaten by the plant, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh my gosh, Fable's back, baby, let's go. Only problem is that since that trailer, we haven't really heard anything about it. We haven't seen anything. Well, according to the LinkedIn profile of an associate QA technician at Playground Games named Simon Kent, Fable is officially in the flighting test stage. In Mr. Kent's list of duties on his LinkedIn profile, it's mentioned that he performed and developed test cases for smoke testing, animation, and flighting testing for Fable. This essentially means that there's a very early version of Fable being distributed to players and testers in order to get more feedback about the game. This is very encouraging news because the last time we actually heard about Fable was that there was some drama going on. There was a snag in development, something crazy like that. So it's good to see that Fable is moving in a positive direction. Previous to this, Xbox leadership has come out and said, man, we really wanted to show off Fable, what they're doing with Fable. And they were saying, no, 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 give us more time, give us more time. We don't want to show anything just yet. I have no idea what this means for an official release date or release window for Fable, but it's got me thinking about another fantasy RPG that Xbox Game Studios is working on, Avowed, being developed by Obsidian. Now, Avowed is very similar to Fable in the way that it's, you know, they're both fantasy RPGs. They're set in different universes, of course, but similar to Fable, Avowed is shrouded in mystery as well. We haven't heard a lot about Avowed, which is a little bit disappointing. It was announced at around the same time that Fable was. From what I've been reading and hearing, it sounds like Avowed may make an appearance in 2024 on Xbox consoles and PC, but that's just speculation at this point. And if Avowed is releasing 2024, what does that mean for Fable? Is Xbox, I can't imagine they'd be super crazy about releasing two fantasy RPGs around the same time period. No matter what happens, I'm hoping, I'm praying that we at least get an update on one of these games at the summer showcase that Xbox is having in June. While we wait, you have plenty of time to catch up on all the other Fable games. Are all on Game Pass right now, and you could play Pillars of Eternity, which is on Game Pass as well, and that's the same universe that Avowed is going to be set in. There have been rumors floating around that Fable is looking and feeling a lot like The Witcher, which I'm like, you know, I love The Witcher, don't get me wrong, y'all know I love The Witcher, but I want it to be its own thing. I don't want The Witcher again, man. I already have The Witcher. There's also reports that Fable is in a playable state right now, a fully playable state, which again is very encouraging. Maybe we'll see it along with Avowed at the Xbox Game Showcase. I don't know. I'm done making predictions when it comes to showcases because I always swing big and then I'm disappointed. I'm one of those guys. I guess all we can do now is wait. Next up is Microsoft unhappy with Xbox. This was something that blew up over the weekend, and it all started with comments by Jeff Grubb suggesting that Microsoft was disappointed by the performance of Hi-Fi Rush earlier this year. It got so bad that Aaron Greenberg hopped on Twitter and he was like, Hi-Fi Rush was a massive success for Xbox by every metric, guys, don't worry about it. The whole time I was confused because I was thinking, wait a minute. Hi-Fi Rush, at the time when I was talking about it, was selling really well on Steam. It had even outsold Forspoken in its opening week, I believe. And especially for a game with no marketing, I feel like it did pretty damn well. Since then, Jeff Grubb has apologized. He said, man, I really feel bad about, how my words were taken and that all of a sudden people were critical of Tango Gameworks. But he does say in that video, it took this much money to make Hi-Fi Rush and it made this much money. And it makes me think, okay, like, well, how much money did it make, I guess? I don't know. Was it supposed to make a ton of money? It's not like a huge, massive AAA title. Was the expectation that it was just going to be gangbusters in terms of sales? The tweet that Aaron Greenberg replied to was Jez Corden's, and I do think he brings up an interesting point. What is success to Xbox? What is the metric that they're using to measure it? Is it game sales plus subscribers gained after the release of a first-party title on Game Pass? In the past, I've seen them on Twitter say, oh, 8 million people played Halo Infinite or whatever game since it was added to Game Pass or since it came to Xbox consoles. If they're going by people playing the game, are they counting, I guess, just people booting up the game and then spending 5 minutes and then logging off? I'd be curious to see the criteria that Xbox uses to judge a successful launch of a game. Me personally, I think Hi-Fi Rush was a success because I liked the game. I had a really good time with it. I liked it, the critics seemed to like it. It created a pretty big buzz on social media and in the gaming headlines, the gaming news circuit. The game would not be any more or less fun if it sold more copies. For example, on the PlayStation side, Returnal didn't sell a lot in terms of like Sony standards. Does that make it a bad game? No. Absolutely not. I don't think anyone was looking at Hi-Fi Rush thinking, oh man, this is gonna be the one that's gonna lift us out of bankruptcy, it's gonna make us a ton of money. But it was a great game, solid, and a game I didn't even knew I needed. That doesn't mean that Xbox is off the hook, right? If I was a business owner, I would wait for Xbox and see how it plays out this generation, at least, before making any moves. If I'm the king of Microsoft, if I'm Bill Gates or something, I wouldn't be hasty to sell it today, tomorrow, next week, next year. I'd at least wait until next generation to see how things play out. Because we got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Obviously, we keep talking about it. We keep saying, oh guys, just wait for Indiana Jones, Avowed, Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, Redfall, whatever. But I would like to see how those games play out before we kind of say, oh, Microsoft is unhappy with Xbox. They don't like what's going on out there. Now, to many Xbox gamers' horror, last week they were discovering that they no longer had the ability to share screenshots or clips directly from their console or even the Xbox Game Bar directly to Twitter. Xbox officially said on their Twitter account, we have had to disable the ability to share game uploads to Twitter directly from the console and Game Bar on Windows. You can still share your favorite moments to Twitter via the Xbox app for Android and iOS. They didn't say why they took away this feature, but a lot of people are theorizing that it's because of this new API, this new paywall that Twitter has put up. Apparently, this new API at Twitter would require companies like Microsoft to pay upwards of $42,000 a month in order to keep this feature. This doesn't seem to be the first time that Microsoft has had beef with Twitter over the past, I guess, how long has Elon Musk had Twitter? A year? 2? I can't even remember. They pulled their advertising from Twitter and that caused some drama as well. This is also something that almost happened. I feel like at some point last year, people were in the insider rings saying that they lost the ability to share their screenshots and clips to Twitter. And I remember them talking about it on the Xbox 2 podcast and being like, what's going on? I think that's whack because they're saying they want to improve the DVR, but yet they're taking away options. And then Xbox walked it back. They said, no, we're going to keep it in. We were just testing. We were just goofing, guys. But to be completely honest, guys, I just don't care. I don't really use Twitter as a platform. I got a Twitter because, once the YouTube thing started taking off, once Xbox already started taking off, I thought, well, okay, a lot of people I look up to in the content creation space, they have Twitter. Twitter, so I was like, maybe I should get a Twitter because that's where all the other gaming YouTubers are doing. But honestly, guys, I don't even use it anymore. I never really used it before I was a YouTuber, and it was cool for getting news updates and stuff. But what was not cool was seeing like full-grown men arguing back and forth all day on Twitter over video games and not even having like good discussions. I'm talking threatening violence and like saying the craziest stuff, leaking IP addresses and things like that. I was like, whoa, what is going on? So yeah, to be completely honest, guys, I don't really use Twitter. I'm sorry for those of you who have reached out to me on that platform, either through the Stay Xbox Ready handle or State of Ray. What people have been doing now has been reaching out to me on Xbox Live. I'm Lord Janitor. I love when people reach out to me on there. People have been following me on my Instagram as well. But yeah, Twitter, it's not for me. I don't knock you if you are a Twitter person and you love using Twitter and you find that it's helpful for you, but for me, I'm like, I don't care. That being said, if you want to share your game clips and screenshots to Twitter that you capture on your Xbox console, you have to make sure that whatever clip or screenshot that you want to share is uploaded to Xbox Live. Then you will go on your phone, either iOS or Android, go to the Xbox app, and you'll be able to see all the captures that are uploaded from your console. From there, you can share from Twitter. It's honestly kind of convenient when I've done that in the past, especially for shorter clips, for just screenshots that I take that I think are cool, because that way I don't have to do a whole thing of, oh, I remove the drive from my Xbox, plug it into my computer, upload it, and then do all that stuff. It's a lot more straightforward. Anyways, guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me for another video, and we'll see you in the next one.